This program is presented by International Container Terminal Services, Inc. Excellence Uncontained. RC Cola.
Topping the 10-point socio-economic agenda is the one that maintains the current macroeconomic policies, including that of trade, fiscal, and economic policy. This also includes a progressive tax reform system and the one that promotes efficient tax collection system while indexing taxation to inflation. A successful implementation of this policy is expected to positively impact on the middle-income class as well as improve the investment climate in the country. But there is a catch.
We likewise feature the challenges faced by the sweetened beverage industry, along with the stories of two young entrepreneurs in the food industry. These come next after the summary of last week's major business news.
3 major government agencies signed a joint memorandum enjoining all cities and municipalities to streamline business permits and licensing system. These are the Departments of Trade and Industry, Interior and Local Government, and Information and Communication Technology. Under the memorandum, local government units are directed to cut down processing time to 2 days for new business registration and 1 day for renewals. Previously, the registration was 5 to 10 days and renewal was for 5 days or less. All LGUs are also directed to use a unified form with only 2 signatories required. On September 7, the House Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization, chaired by Representative Jesus and Sacdalan, approved 16 bills, all seeking a 2,000 pesos across-the-board increase in the SSS monthly pension. The bill seeks to amend Section 12 of Republic Act No. 1161, otherwise known as the Social Security Act of 1997. Celio R. Ortiz Luis Jr., PHILEXPORT president, said raising the pension benefits of private employees is commendable, as current levels fall way below those provided public employees by the GSIS. But the expert community hinted that the additional benefits should not come from the increased contributions of both employers and employees, as both are already burdened by too many deductions. About 2 million current and future SSS pensioners and their families stand to benefit from the proposal. International Container Terminal Services, Inc. Excellence Uncontained. RC Cola. International Container Terminal Services, Inc. Excellence Uncontained. RC Cola.
We think that it's just a matter of time before the campaign promise of an inclusive tax reform program is implemented. We are pleased to have with us the Undersecretary for Corporate Affairs, Planning, and Management Services of the Department of Finance to talk about this issue. Welcome to Business and Beyond, Undersecretary Gil Beltran. Thank you, sir, for accommodating our request.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm pleased to talk with you.
How do you see the Philippines, especially the economy, going in the next 6 years?
We expect that the economy will be growing at a fast clip with very low inflation. Per capita GDP will almost double. Poverty index we expect to be reduced significantly.
The question of to tax or not to tax. So what are the sticky issues and how do we address these problems?
Taxation is a very difficult issue. Government services have to be provided. The poor will have to be helped to move up from poverty. and you need resources for those. Also, there are public goods to be financed, like roads, bridges. Nobody will build this for us. It will have to come from our own pockets. And that's government there, pulling together resources to make sure that these are underwritten and implemented.
Can you briefly summarize the highlights of this proposal?
The main reason why we need revenues is that we want to push the infrastructure budget from 3% last year of GDP to 7% of GDP by 2022 to enable us to supply the needed logistics. And also we need to finance the social expenditures of government. Also, universal healthcare. We have done this through sin tax. Also, we are looking into other areas that will make the private sector contribute towards social inclusion. One is the microfinance program. We're trying to get a bill passed in Congress. We will set up the movable collateral registry. This will help micro enterprises get financing from the banks using their inventory as collateral. Also, we are looking at developing the microinsurance products for the poor, so that whenever a big typhoon comes, the poor will be able to restart their lives.
Sir, we are also talking of grants, loans, subsidies here.
Most of this, the CCT and the universal healthcare will be government financed, but the microfinance will be shouldered by government.
In the case, for example, of the sin taxes on yung cigarettes, etc.
Cigarettes and liquor.
Meron na po bang feedback from industry of adverse effects? Because yun din po yung concern of these industries.
Actually, surprisingly, they're growing fast. Based on the manufacturing results, they're still growing at very hefty rates. There's no adverse
So
impact on
walang
them.
adverse impact.
Yeah.
Yung sa sugary beverages kasi sir, these are yung mga sabi nga ng isang producer, one of the producers mentioned, ito daw po yung poor man's drinks and products. So mag-i-increase si project sa the prices to increase by 2 pesos, 3 pesos or double the current prices. So ang tatamaan, the poor.
I think it's better to get the diet of the poor to move to more healthier drinks.
Okay.
Yeah, mineral water is healthy. From very sweet beverages which could induce diabetes and moving them to healthier mineral water, for instance.
Okay, so one of the offsetting measures is the rationalization of fiscal incentives bill, no? The revenues from that. How do you propose to do that?
Actually, the investor should not worry, because what we are going to do is just to put a sunset provision for these incentives. Second, we won't touch all the old ones, the old incentives
Those
that are already there.
enjoyed.
What we would like to touch is the investments that will be generated in the future. They have to abide by the new rules already set under the bills that we are proposing.
How does the DOF intend to expand the tax base?
In the case of the first measure, which is the lowering of the personal income tax, it will be accompanied by a measure to remove or reduce the exemptions in the VAT.
Sir, my mom and many of my bosses are senior citizens. They are concerned about the 20% discount. Will this stay?
What we would like to shield from the removal of the incentive is the poor senior citizens. And they will enjoy that. They will still enjoy the CCT. It's not being implemented yet. It's starting to implement and expand.
So, sir, when do we see all these reforms happening and being implemented?
By the second half of 2017 and full year implementation in 2018.
So, do you have any message to the taxpayers and to all those who are concerned about losing their benefits or increased taxes?
I would like to talk to all citizens of this country. The only way we can deliver the social services, that the people deserve is by generating adequate resources. Because we need all these roads, bridges, this infrastructure, and we need to support the health and education programs of government.
Thank you very much, sir, for entertaining our appointment and all our questions.
I'm happy that you went to us to ask for enlightenment on many of the tax issues that we talked about.
Yes, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Business and Beyond will be back.
International Container Terminal Services Inc. Excellence Uncontained. RC Cola. International Container Terminal Services Inc. Excellence Uncontained. RC Cola.
The tax issue is one of the sticky points in our bid to attract more investors. And because of this, private sector is strongly involved in the resolution of some advocacies to address these issues. Business and Beyond is pleased to have with us the chairperson of the PCCI Tax Committee to share and explain some insights and some information in this advocacy. We welcome Attorney Du-Baladad. Thank you, ma'am, for having us in this beautiful office. Okay, ma'am, just to brief our audience, can you please go through very quickly some business-related tax reforms?
Well, let's talk of the big tax reform that they are talking about. And based on what has been presented recently, it will be in 4 phases. The first phase is a reduction of the personal income tax.
Okay.
And their timetable for that is January 2017. The second phase would be reduction again of the corporate income tax. And that is scheduled to be passed by, I think it's June 2017. Then the third one is property tax reform. And the fourth one is capital tax reform. For the first reform, which is a reduction of personal income tax, they have actually widened the band. From 0 to 250,000 income, you will just pay like 2,500 pesos. It's a fixed fee, or you can say that's 1%. But they introduce also a higher rate, which is from 32%, they increase it to 35%, which would mean to say, as I look at the bracket, that the middle income group and the lower income group would basically benefit from this tax reform. But the higher income group of 5 million and up will be slapped with 35%, which is higher.
Okay.
In terms of business, that would come in, they say, as phase 2. And the proposal is to reduce it to 25%. So from 30%, they will reduce it to 25%.
But the DOF also has released some 3-digit billion losses if these tax reforms are implemented. Is this something that's sustainable? Can we live with this?
There will be losses, but as you can see, what they're saying now is that there would be counter-pairing measures, wherein other revenue measures will be passed as well.
Ma'am, what about SMEs? Meron bang specific reforms for SMEs?
That one I'd like to talk about, because this is actually an advocacy of PCCI. And if you look at the guiding principle for their tax reform agenda, they say for a simpler, fairer, and more effective tax system. I can see where the fairer is. They're trying to reduce, make it more progressive. That's where the fairer comes in. I'm trying to look at where the simplification comes in, and I don't see it yet. Because I was trying to look at the figures of DTI, and they're saying that MSME is actually 99.6% of the total business enterprises.
That's correct.
And of the MSMEs, the micro consists, I think, 83%.
Yeah, bigger.
So it's around 844,000 micro, just micro. And I also saw there a description of who these micro are. And they're saying these are the unregistered enterprises.
Yung informal.
These are the informal, these are those that are not paying their taxes, and so forth and so on. So if you look at it, how can you entice them to join the tax net? And I think number one of that is that make the compliance rule very simple, make the tax rules very simple.
How do you see the balancing there? Yung giving up some incentives and then lowering the income tax.
You know, this is what's wrong with incentives. No? When we have incentives, others do not pay, right? And when others do not pay, you have a very narrow base. And if you need this amount, those who are not exempt or those who don't have the incentive will have to shoulder that which is not paid by the others. Now, in terms of attracting foreign direct investment or attracting foreign investments, I think we should look at what is happening in the region, especially ASEAN region, and we try to benchmark our incentives with the rest.
So, may mga models na that we can look at.
Yes.
Are there anything else that we'd like to prioritize, or if this is done, then we're okay?
Since we are now not just talking of the Philippines, every time we look at business, we have to look at the region already, because we are now part of the ASEAN economic region. So we have to consider a bigger picture. So, and I see that there is now an ongoing tax competition among the members of the ASEAN region. There are those that have, starting January 2016, the start of the ASEAN economic integration. Some of them, mabibilis talaga sila. Some of them already reduced their tax rates, effective January 1st, 2016. So if we want to be competitive, because we're looking to be more competitive, then I think we really have to study also what the others are doing and what are the proposals that they want to do going forward.
Okay, so if you're an investor, tax or incentives?
It depends. Yeah, it goes together.
Goes together.
Goes together.
Plus the other factors of competitiveness.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Attorney. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Business and Beyond will be back.
International Container Terminal Services Inc. Excellence Uncontained. RC Cola. International Container Terminal Services Inc. Excellence Uncontained. RC Cola.
The plan of the Duterte administration to impose taxes on sugar-sweetened beverages is seen to hurt not only the producers but especially the consumers of these products. Let's listen to a major producer talk about this issue. Business and Beyond welcomes the Chairman and President of Zesto Corporation, Mr. Alfredo M. Yao. Sir, thank you for joining us today. Let's talk about the beverage industry. Kumusta na po, especially within the ASEAN region?
The beverage industry really, we call them, as far as we are concerned, we call them a poor man's drink. Poor man's drink because quite cheap, you know.
Okay.
You're catering on the really low income consumer. Oh.
So your company, you're producing drink.
Right now we have fruit drinks, I call that. And the categories is now to fruit juices. When you say fruit juices, be 100% juice.
Okay, so we go to the tax issue now.
Yes.
It seems that the DOF is bent on pushing for the imposition of this tax. How big is the impact that you are expecting?
Let's say 250 ml for a sachet or per bottle and something. That will have a 250 per bottle or 250 per packet. Right now you're selling at 350, so it will become 6 pesos.
So sir, what is the position of the industry?
If ever that really we cannot avoid paying, maybe they have to look at the rate not too big, too much.
So
So sir, ang argument po ng DOF is this is an offsetting measure at saka for better health daw po because of the sugar content.
I'm not a doctor. I cannot argue. Maybe if you drink too much, maybe yes. No? But in here, we just drink 1 bottle a day, maybe 2 bottles in a week. I don't think.
Magkakaroon ba sir ng changes in your formulation or products?
You can do it sugar substitute. No? The artificial sugar or sweetener. You tax.
Kasama.
Wala siyang pakialam. Buy lesser sugar, then I pay,
So mukhang sugar industry and
Ang affected
stakeholders
sugar
naman
industry.
ang maaapektuhan.
Yeah, the sugar industry that will be affected much.
So ano yung popular brands nyo?
In the Zestro side, of course, we have the Zestro is Angkor brand. Of course, we have other, let's say, Big 250, Plus, Sandglo. I think we have 7 brands, on each category.
Anong direction ng product development and innovation?
We're going to a more health product, milk, chocolate. I think that taxation yun. Wala yun sa...
Wala mag sugar
Hindi kasama.
content yun.
Maski na may sugar to adjust the taste, you are exempted.
So, thank you very much sir for sharing your
Salamat
time
po.
and wisdom.
Salamat.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Business and Beyond will be back.
This week's Leisure and Pleasure segment takes a peek at the restaurants run by young entrepreneurs from Marikina. We interviewed the Mojica siblings who came from the family behind the famous Angel's Burger.
Bata pa lang ako, gusto ko talaga magluto, and gusto rin po ng mami ko na magkaroon ng restaurant. So, nag-ano kami ng mga magpipinsan. Last year po, last July 16, yung first na podcast sa Maginhawa.
For the best sellers naman, we have the baby back ribs, the Australian steak, the roast beef, and they all come with unlimited rice and unlimited soft drinks. And the last one is the cheeseburger. Pwede kang mag-add on ng bacon na 30 pesos and the cheese for 15 pesos. For the baby back ribs, it's 199. This one is also 199 for the steak. And for the roast beef, it's 149. And for the burger, it's 99 pesos. Usually, yung mga employees from the companies nearby to have lunch, to dine, and mga students from school. For the dessert naman, it's 100 pesos per slice. And we have an afternoon promo. Comes with a coffee. We'd like to invite everyone to please visit Fat Cousin's Diner. We have a branch in Maguinawa. And the second one is at 169 BG Molina Street, Parang, Marikina.
We're open every day, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Let's eat.
Welcome to Brandon Kids Rich
Thank you. You are Chef Kid and
Bradley.
Parang Bradley. Yes. What is this week? What do you have this for?
We're very casual. We have a casual vibe with a lot of vintage items on display, pretty items on display.
Vintage, but you're so young. Bakit ganun yung take nyo?
Well, yung inspiration kasi is we came from watching the movie Chef. And it has mga Latin American and Cuban. We actually have 4 variants of ribs. We have the original recipe, we have spicy barbie, we have our other bestsellers called dry rub ribs. So instead of sauce that you see here, it's encrusted with Chef Pitt's special dry rub. So it's has a very smoky crust. And then our last is Chef Pitt's also own invention. We call it Havana ribs. So the glaze is infused with coffee. And the bestseller, cucumber shake.
Cucumber shake. I like this kasi consistent.
It's your first time here in Brandon Pitt's Rib Shack, we recommend the original recipe. It's nothing that you've ever tasted before. The flavors are very smoky, even the sauce. We'd like to invite everyone to visit us here at Lilac Street in Concepcion Dos Marikina, but we also have a second branch in Capitolio, Pasig.
Pienso en mi madre y su encanto me cubre con su ternura.
Kain na po tayo.
On this note, we close this week's episode. We hope that you again join us next week for a continuation of these discussions in this series.
Please visit our social media accounts and let us know your comments and suggestions.
Always remember, connections matter. Here at
Business and Beyond.
Try ko na lang. This one's for you, Charles. Okay, may dessert. Ano favorite mo?
This program was presented by International Container Terminal Services, Inc. Excellence Uncontained. RC Cola.